Today is still Songkran Festival, Kuntepchai, and it's even more special because it's Family Day today.
That's right. The Family Day is supposed to be part of the Songkran Festival. But since the Songkran Festival this year has been very much scaled down due to the coronavirus, so today's Family Days is also very much dampened. But of course, the spirit of the family is still very much around. We still see people, in families, the unions and people paying respects to their elders. But of course, a lot of people comply with the directive from the authorities to keep a distance away from their elderly members of the family. So it's not the kind of family days that we have been used to.
Yes, but we are told that we still need to keep guard high in order to curb the spread of coronavirus. And all the measures of working from home, especially social distancing, still have to be complied. And that's why we see that today, this year especially, no water festival, no water splash during Songkran, no public gathering, and it's still working days as normal, not public holidays as usual. And for the number of new confirmed cases today, Kuntepchai is 34, even it's still on downward trend, slightly higher than yesterday, but stringent measures still has to be maintained, especially according to Dr. Tavisin Vissanuyotin, spokesman of Center of COVID-19 Situation Administration.
Yeah, we have been hearing a lot of ideas or even complaints from many people that since the number of new infections has been coming down steadily, so it could be about time that we reconsider or review the existing stringent measures, especially the curfew hours. And Dr. Tavisin, the spokesman of the Center Fighting the Coronavirus, again offers some precaution to any early review or lifting of these restrictions. Of course, many people have been hearing a lot about developments in other countries where restrictions are being eased. For example, in the US, President Trump has been saying that he wants the country to reopen in May this year. That is only a few weeks away. And Austria, for example, is also on the verge of easing the restrictions. So many people have started asking questions, when will be Thailand's turn to start easing some of those restrictions?
Probably not quite soon, because what we see today is the result of the past 7 days. So if we ease the rule today, perhaps the real infection, the number will be reflected in the next few days, or probably 4 or 5 days or next week. That's why we still have to remain vigilant in terms of our practice to curb with the coronavirus. And today, Bangkok still the main cluster of infection, especially if we see the number of infection around the country. Bangkok still come as number 1 with total case more than 1,300. Number 2 is Phuket and Nonthaburi and Samut Prakan province. Kuntepchai.
Yeah, Phuket still remains the province with the highest rate of infections, vis-a-vis the size of the population. But the 4 southernmost provinces are a major source of concern for medical authorities, due largely to the returns of many Thais. Due to the returns recently of many Thais from overseas, especially those who went to attend religious function in neighboring countries, like in Malaysia or farther away in Indonesia. And many of these people came back and were tested positive. And according to Dr. Tavisin, today, of the 70 people who returned from Indonesia recently, 61 of them, 61, were tested positive. And these people, all of a sudden became spreaders of the virus. So that means that these people with travel history, they came back infected, and without proper self-isolation or quarantine, they transmitted the disease to people close to them, their family members, their friends, and then those in the second group pass on the virus to people with whom they came into contact. And that explains the high number of infection cases in the four southernmost provinces of Yala, Pattani, Narathiwat, and Songkhla. And in order to stop the chain of transmission, Dr. Thavisin stressed that the only way to do that is to hold off their return, the return of Thai people still overseas, or if they do need to return, they need to be subject to strict quarantine to make sure that they do not become spreader of the virus.